Welcome back to Pistons Worldwide. As you can see today, we have Ash filling in for Tom for the entirety of the show. Ash, what's going on, my brother?
I'll do my best, Tom. What up, Joe?
It's awesome to have Ash here. Obviously, for people that have watched before, Ash comes up with the trivia, and he's normally in here helping out with the chat, and he's just a huge Aussie Pistons fan like myself. We're going to dive straight into that huge win over the Knicks in just a moment. We'll also spend most of the second half of the show talking about the trade deadline, our thoughts, reaction, what went on around the league and how it affects the Pistons. We will have some call-ins as well. If you want to call in and talk about just the game, I'm going to bring up people earlier if they'd like to come up after Ash and I give our initial thoughts. And we'll also provide a space for people to come up and share their thoughts on the trade deadline later. But Ash, brother, we're going to dive straight into this game. And Ash, just quickly tell people where they can follow you as well on Twitter, because you're very active on Twitter.
On Twitter, I think it's ashvan_13, but you'll see me. Pistons Twitter will probably see me around. We're interacting a lot between you and I, so they'll find me.
Ash, what a game. We just started briefly talking about it before we went live, and then I was like, actually, what am I doing? Let's stop talking. Let's just talk about this game. As you can see in the comments, guys, we're going to try and monitor them as best we can, but what a massacre, belt to us. Pistons win by 38, and not one player even scored 20 points, which tells you about the balanced attack and just the absolute domination from the Pistons from player 1 through to 15 tonight.
How good was that depth? Like, you know, we were saying off air just before, Jalen Duren, big out for us. And yes, you know, they're missing a few players. And I'm sure fans on Twitter will have excuses for that. That's fine. But that depth from our boys, like, how good? You know, we've got Dennis coming off the bench with a nasty 18. We've got contributions all around. Like, what a time to be a Pistons fan.
It's just incredible. And, like, I'll be honest, even when I saw Cat and OG were out and I knew we didn't have Duren, I would think you're on drugs if you told me the Pistons were going to win this by nearly 40. Like, it's not that I don't believe they can do it, because we saw them beat them by 32 a month ago. It's just like, I thought the Knicks on an 8-game winning streak would show a little bit more fight. But I think, like, for me, we'll talk about Danis in a sec, but the team defense led by Asar Thompson on Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson tonight, absolute non-factor. Like, non-factor. I think he was 1 of 8 in the first quarter, 12 points on 4 of 20. I don't even know if he played in the fourth quarter. I'll be honest, I was barely watching in the fourth. I was getting content ready because I was just like, need to get ready for the show. Let's try and be on time today. But the defense, like, starts with the SAR, I thought, but just every player, Javonte Green, Ron Holland, like, it's awesome to watch.
They all just chipped in, and, you know, like, watching the defensive scheme against Brunson was incredible tonight. Like, seeing players, like, the switching was on. They were either switching or hedging hard, giving that man time to come back, get back to Brunson. 4 of 20 and none of 8 from 3. And a minus, I think, 28 or 24.
Just
get out of here. And, you know, a minute 40 for his first flop. Give me a break. Yeah.
Oh, there was that one on Asai. I think I know the one you're talking about. He was around the free throw line and he didn't get the foul call. He was like, I must admit, like, this game as well, like, I didn't even have that much Knicks hatred in me. Like, we were just belting them that much that I was like, I kind of just, you know, I was romanticizing about the time this was actually a rivalry, because the Pistons have now won 5 games in a row when Isaiah Stewart is healthy. And I don't even think Stu was like a difference maker tonight or anything, but I dare say now it's pretty obvious if he plays in that first round series, it's a little bit different. But like, just an all-round team performance. Like, I think we have to talk about Danis first. 18 points in 18 minutes, plus 23, like you said. Pistons definitely missed him yesterday against the Wiz. Just thoughts on his game, Ash?
I mean, he's just like the ultimate spark plug, isn't he? Like it's his 50th game. He is no longer a two-way player anymore, and he put a whole goddamn exclamation point on that, didn't he? He
Unbelievable.
that buzzer beater, like, don't teams know? Have they not scouted over the 50 games?
I genuinely think he's just kind of that good. Like I'm not going to get ahead of myself. Like I'm not saying he's a star or anything. Like if I say that, I'm just sort of joking a bit. But like the handle, the shot making, the 3-point shooting, the aggressiveness on defense, like
The
I
speed.
don't we have to ban ourselves from using the word two-way contract in a sentence with him anymore because that's just a straight up insult and no disrespect to any other two-way contract players. Like he is a legit rotation, like top 7, top 8 player on a championship team. He's proving that. Like, I mean, I just think what he's doing and has done throughout multiple times this whole season. He's been in and out of the rotation at times. But when he's got consistent minutes, like, let's just remember he did not play like a meaningful NBA minute last season. I think I remember him getting in against the Timberwolves once because half the team got ejected in Minnesota last year and he made a bucket. I just remember these things because it was so little. He played so little. And for him to come out and do this against like the Knicks, who had won 8 games in a row, like, wow, what a
Well,
player.
he's also kept Sasa out of the rotation, who proved last season to be a serviceable backup. I
Yeah.
think Sasa's played in 15 games, and we're at what, game 50 odd, 52, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So he's kept Sasa out of the rotation. That's how good he's been. And I've been convinced, I was convinced on Sasa last season.
Yeah.
So that in itself is, credit to Dennis.
And
Um, Obviously, he fits with that bench lineup too. He brings the energy, he brings the hustle. There was that hustle play down the sideline where he saved the ball, I think late in the third or maybe mid third. And he just
yeah,
fits that lineup beautifully with, Hustle Man and
hustle, man.
the rest of them. Yeah.
I'm still warm into that. I think we need to do better than that for Ronald.
I think we can do better, but it'll do for now.
I, but no, he's been just incredible. And like, just a little note: the Knicks came into tonight averaging over 120 points per game on their 8-game winning streak. In their last 8 games in that winning streak as well, they had the best defensive rating in the NBA. And I know they're missing a couple of players, but forgive me for getting a little bit excited. But the Knicks at one stage, midway through the fourth, were on like 64. And like the Pistons go out there and almost put up 120. Just absolute domination. And like you said, Ash, like I think the bench unit overall, like talk about Danis keeping Sasser out of the lineup. He might keep Kevin Herter out of the rotation. Like
Yes.
they're going to give him minutes. Don't get me wrong. Like that, it's tough for him to come in after a trade on a back-to-back and actually fit into a team that's this deep. But just kind of like once we get to the playoffs, like if you cut down this rotation, like even the 10-man rotation right now, like you got Ron, Karras, Danis, Javonte. I know people don't like Karras, but like I just think he's going to play. And then you have Stu normally off the bench. Like Herter's like the 11th guy, Sasa. Like the
Mm.
depth, like you said off the top, is amazing. Like it's insane. I don't like. Did you look at this roster before the season and think this was the type of like flexibility or depth this team would have? I certainly didn't.
Probably not. Probably not, I don't think. Um, Looking at this roster preseason, I think you probably thought there's a lot of youth and there's a lot of people that have things to prove. And I think that is probably what's they've bought into this defensive minded system. And, by focusing defense first, we can, get out in transition, get those easy buckets, you know, not obvious or, very obvious to Pistons fans. We do lack a little bit of outside shooting, and that defense first, system that JB's implemented, I think enables these sort of, found players, I guess, to really thrive. Like look at Javonte. I
Yeah,
never expected, Javonte to be hitting threes as consistently as he had this season.
yeah,
Um, you know, Harris, I'm not a Karras fan. You know this, and any Pistons fans from Twitter will know that. He did pretty well tonight. Like I've got to give him some credit. I wasn't expecting Paul Reed to come and hit some threes this season too. So like, we've just had this sort of, I think, credit to JB and the coaching staff. They've really implemented this system that suits this city, but it also suits this group.
It really does, and it's a great point. It's like someone like Javonte Green might, everything he brings to the table is exactly what JB, I feel like, loves in a role player on his team or any player. And like you said, the ability, like the Pistons are first in blocks and steals, so they're constantly able to get out in transition when they're creating those sort of deflections and those stops. And like someone like Javonte can thrive in that. Obviously, Ron can thrive in that in transition, and he's a big part of those steals. I think he had 3 steals tonight. But yeah, like Javonte Green was signed, I think early August, late July, on a minimum. Like last year, it was Malik Beasley, basically on a minimum, and he had a tremendous impact. I'm not sure I'm going to say Javonte's had the same impact as Malik, but like I don't think he's too far behind. Just in the role he's been able to play, like he's been, when he's been given minutes, it's been incredible. And when the 3-point shot drops, like you said, like he's just a monster two-way wing. Like he's
Mm.
6'5", 6'6", but I feel like he plays above his height. Um, yeah, so many players we could talk about. Like, I don't even have too much to say about the starters. I just thought Asar did an incredible job on Brunson, and the whole team did as well. But I just think Asar, 3 blocks, 2 steals. Like, this guy's ridiculous.
That game from SR tonight, if you look at the box score, if you the box score watchers out there, you'll look at SR's game and you'll go, oh, you know, oh well. If you watch that game, the eye test, he was incredible. That defensive intensity, that hustle, that energy, that fight, fighting through screens. And then that block on, was it Mikal Bridges with the left hand
Yeah. Yeah, I
from
think it was.
three?
That's crazy,
How on earth anyone was able to fly and block that with their wrong hand? Unbelievable.
mate. Yeah.
And then he goes and gets one a couple of minutes later underneath the rim. So I saw huge, huge game from him.
Yeah, he's like hit 2 points tonight, but who cares? Like, couldn't care less about the scoring for him. He was just, yeah, just an incredible defensive player. Like, even when he's not getting blocks and steals, like that's almost like the icing on the cake for me. Like, he's going to do that. He's going to at least rack up 2 steals. It might be 2 blocks one night. It might be 1 of each or 5 tonight. But just like the ability to stay in front of people. Didn't get into foul trouble tonight, which is always a worry against Brunson. Like, I feel like that's like obviously Brunson's
Mm.
thing. Like, I feel like Brunson hunts. I mean, he hunts fouls. What am I talking about? On anyone, but especially someone like Asar who can be an aggressive defender and get into foul trouble. I just think awesome from Asar to only get 1 foul, not take himself out of the game. Because this kind of was over. It was over at halftime, but I didn't want to get too excited because there's still so much time to
Mm.
play. But yeah, just I don't even know where to go from here. Like, especially like I actually wasn't able to watch the Wizards game yesterday. Like, but I know that was a very, very disappointing game. But this team, I think, now has won 8 in a row on the second night of a back-to-back, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. The record, I was having a look pre-show at the record we've had, both at home, on the road, looking at days rest, those kind of things. This team, like the grit, the fight, all of those things that embody this city that we've craved for, and those longtime Pistons fans that have, um, been fans since like the early days, whether that's the Bad Boys or the Going to Work era. Like this is we're kind of getting that sort of that status back, and that, it's amazing, amazing for this team. Like they're, I think, 16-7 on the road, which is huge, like huge, huge
Yeah.
for a team that 2 years ago had a record losing season.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just
unbelievable.
it'll never get old talking about the rise from that season to here. Like, I'm assuming so on the season the Pistons are 38 and 13. I think I remember at some point in like February or late January in that horrible season, they were like, I think it was like 4 and 40 something. Like, or 6 and 40 something. Like, it's just like, wow. Like, it's just incredible, incredible turnaround. And like, let's not forget they just beat the Nuggets earlier in the week. They're missing Aaron Gordon, but that's a huge win. Like, I know they
Mhm.
lost against the Wizards, but I didn't really care too much about that. Like, it kind of just means nothing. Like, it really doesn't mean anything, especially when you come out and play like this. Like, you can just throw that completely away. By the way, Zave, I can see you in the bottom there. We'll bring you up soon. Everyone else, I did put the link in the chat. It's about 4 or 5 comments up. If you want to come up and join and talk about the game, please do now, because we will talk about the trade deadline a bit later in the show. But Ash, like this, I think the win in January against the Knicks was like, I'm not gonna lie, that was the sweetest win. Both teams, I think, were
Yeah.
healthy, and just after not being able to play them since that game 6 was so much anticipation. But like 2 wins by 38 and 32 points. Like, what on earth? Like, are the Pistons just like this much better than the Knicks? Not 30 points better than the Knicks, but like, I don't know. Like, that's very telling to me. That's not something you just say, oh, we're missing Cat and OG, or like, I
Mhm.
don't, it's telling the physicality and like what you said about the team's identity aligning with previous Pistons historic teams. Like, it feels like the Knicks aren't up for the fight with the toughness the Pistons bring.
Mm. There's sort of two things that I think sort of coming from these wins is, number one, I think the Pistons are just more clear about their identity right now than I think the
Yeah.
Knicks are. I think the Knicks are probably a little bit sort of still trying to figure out where they stand and what they stand for and sort of their team identity. But I think the other thing that we can take from it is I think our guys are just, I think, to be honest, I think they're hurt from the playoff series.
Yeah.
I think they just get up for this Knicks game. I think they have a lot to prove. We know that, or we've both said it many a time, with Beef Stew in that lineup, we win that series.
Yeah.
And, you know, a foul call on Tim Hardaway Jr. shooting in that playoff series. Do we end up winning? Who knows? But I think they've just, this is the team they get up for because they've got that motivation that, we are not going to back down and we are not going to let you beat us again.
It's I no, it's a great point. Like, it's um yeah, maybe I underestimate how much, like, because of that playoff series last year, it wasn't like the Pistons were just happy to be there at all. Like, they earned that, and they, like you said, they should have won the series. But maybe I've underestimated how much that probably truly hurt them. Like, even though it was their first taste of the playoffs and it was all new, like, um, yeah, losing like they did in game 6 when they probably should have won game 6. They got robbed of game 4 because of the officials. Like, yeah, that like, because they come out ready. Like, we saw the Pistons
Mm,
last night or yesterday. Like I said, didn't catch the game, but we've seen them come out slow against lesser opponents or some even good opponents. Like, these 2 Knicks games, they have come out almost instantly since the jump,
mhm,
and like it feels like gotten up by double digits, or just had the physicality completely overwhelming the Knicks, and then the scoreboard like obviously reflects that. But they really care deeply, and maybe I just expected tonight some of that pain from the playoffs and that urgency that they had in the game a month ago to maybe not be there as much, just because this is the second time playing them. But there might have been even more. Like, it's like they got up by like double digits and it was like, we are not taking the foot off the gas, and they just nearly got it out to 40. It's
I
crazy.
mean, I love it. Earlier in the season, I've been calling for them to, I think we had the best record in close games in sort of the first sort of quarter, first third of the season. And I was sort of calling on them that next step and that next progression for this team is to start like putting teams to bed and really, like blowing out that lead, getting those stars that rest, that extra rest so that they can come out again and, put it up. So super proud, super happy, of this
It's
team. Any negativity left over from yesterday can get out.
yeah.
It's all love here at the moment.
Well said. Well, I've got Zabe, Devin, and Maddie. So we'll bring up you guys in just a moment, but I just have to shout out Maddie. Sorry, I missed your super chat, my guy. Too generous as always. BTA. That was there's not one other team in the entire NBA that I would rather the Pistons just take the belt off and just absolutely use it on the team. But we're gonna bring up Zave now, and then Devin, then Maddie, and if anyone else wants to join, like I said, that link is somewhere up about 9 to 10 comments above. So please come up now if you like to talk about the game. But Zave, what's going on, brother? Oh, you might be on mute. There we go. Can you hear me? I still can't hear Zave.
No, I don't have anything from Dave either.
That's right, Dave. Maybe just double check. I'll just bring up Devin, then we'll go back to you, all right? Because I know Devin was at the game. Devin, what's going on?
What up, Doe? Can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Yeah.
Awesome. What's up, guys?
Oh, man, can't stop smiling.
Me too, man.
Dominated the Knicks. How was the game, though? The atmosphere? Talk us through it.
It was incredible, guys. I'm shocked I still have my voice. I mean, it was loud, man. It was almost as loud as the playoffs. I couldn't even hear fouls being called. It was crazy.
Was there a point where a certain moment that happened or a part of the game where you were like, all right, we've got this and this is gonna end up being a blowout? Was there a play that sticks out?
I think the Jenkins and one, I think was a huge momentum shift for us. So I think that really helped. Then I think when Tobias got going, I think that really helped too.
100%. Yeah, Tobias had 15 and 6 in 25 minutes. Like when he's hitting threes, like he kind of brings everything we need on offense. Old Unk.
Unk.
But you go, Ash.
I was just gonna say, Dev, is the booing of Brunson coordinated in any way, or is that just a natural thing that just comes out when you're there?
When I'm there, it's just a natural thing because of my hatred of New York. But for the crowd, it's every single time his fingertip touches the ball. I mean, it's every single time. The FU Brunson chants. I mean, like it's just like every time they touch the ball.
Yeah, because you could get it through the broadcast, and it was just it was magic.
It's nice and crisp as well. You can hear it perfectly.
Yes, you really can.
No, Devin, I always love when we play the Knicks because I feel like this is the team you hate the most. Because obviously I see all your comments, whether it's in the chat here or on Instagram. This must be like your favorite team to beat.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, like I almost want New York to be at fully healthy, and like I almost, not that I want anyone hurt on our team, but I almost want people out just to make it even sweeter. I cannot stand New York, guys. I absolutely hate them. I just everything about New York I just hate. I mean, so yeah, this definitely hits home for me.
No, because have you been to both games now?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Man, I must admit, I'm a bit jealous. I'm always jealous of people who live in Detroit and go to games, but especially for these Knicks games. Last time I'll say it, but just to beat them by 30 plus points in both games, wow, incredible.
100%.
Was there any other thoughts that you have, Devin, or anything else? Are you home yet? Are you driving? Or are you
I
in
just
the
got
car
home.
park?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I just got home. I'm parked. I'm good. I stayed in the arena for at least 20 minutes later, screaming "F New York." So that was fun.
You're kidding.
There was a bunch of Knicks fans that were just like giving me like dirty looks, and I'm like, oh, but wait till the playoffs. Not really, guys. Just haven't talked to you guys in a while. Just wanted to say, still keep up the great work, guys.
Appreciate
Pistons
it.
#1 in the East. We're gonna finish #1, and this is it,
Ivy.
man. This is it. Sad that Ivy's gone. Really, really sad about that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still sad. I couldn't sleep that night, but
No, it is
well,
sad.
hope he does well in Chicago. I think he will. So yeah, those are my
No,
thoughts.
excellent point. We'll talk a bit more about Ivy after we do this game, but yeah, I'm still a little bit sad as well. That one hit me hard, but like you said, Devin, #1 in the East, 2-0 against your favorite team, the Knicks. How good is that?
Oh, it's great, man. I'm gonna sleep good at night.
All right, brother. We'll catch you later. Thanks for
Thanks,
jumping
guys. Yep. Thanks,
All right.
guys. Peace.
on. Let's go. All right, let's try Zave again. Then we got Maddie. Zave, can we hear that?
Can you guys
beautiful
hear me
voice
now?
of yours? Ah,
Yeah.
unreal. What a game. What are your thoughts?
It was fantastic. Like, I cannot name a moment where I just didn't enjoy it. Unbelievable.
Just absolute domination. Like I said, I feel like I'm just talking in circles because I'm almost a bit like low-key shocked that that's like the performance the Knicks dished up on a 8-game winning streak. Like there's no real fight in them or something. I don't know. The Pistons just we played them again in 2 weeks, so I would assume, especially in New York, I would say that's going to be a really tough game. Like I can't imagine the Pistons will be able to roll into town and do that. But yeah, I'm still a little bit like shocked that that's what we saw on national TV.
Yeah. I will say this though, like I really just like this game because of like how everyone just played their roles. I mean, everyone just played their game. We didn't try to do everything else. It was harmony at best.
Yeah, 100%. Wholeheartedly agree.
It really was like you said, Ash, with JB and his coaching style, and you play defense, you give effort, you'll get minutes and make an impact. Like, yeah, there's some shooting concerns, but they shot the ball well tonight, and it's like the rest of the NBA should be genuinely terrified. If the Pistons actually shoot the ball well in their game, you are in for a very long night. Like 17 of 40 tonight. I must admit, there was a stage there where Javonte hit 2 corner threes, and I was like, the Pistons are cheesing here a bit. Like the second one was like in the corner. Like I swear he wasn't even looking at the rim, but
Heavily contested. Yeah. I remember the one.
Yeah.
I was like, if I was a Knicks fan, I'd be like, come on. But they were sort of matching our threes in the first half, like Mikal Bridges. They obviously dipped off a bit, but yeah, just like you said, Dave, everyone chipped in. Like I'm trying to think of the last time I saw a box score like this where like Dana like stood out, but there's not like anyone had 25 or no one had a double-double. Like it was just flat out like everyone's got like 4 rebounds, 2 to 5 assists. Like it's just across the board, like you said. Like it's crazy.
And like we don't fit into this like 3-point like era. We just stand out. We just play hard basketball. It's just I'll say it again. It's just beautiful.
It is.
I think that physicality gives us that sort of that point of difference from other teams where the NBA was sort of looking a bit samey, and we've definitely built on that. I reckon that historic identity, and as you said, Zabe, it's amazing and beautiful to watch.
Yeah, it gives us life as Pistons fans. It gives us life.
It's so fun to watch. And because there's also so many highlights, blocks, dunks, like running up and down the court. Just because we don't shoot threes and make a whole heap of them doesn't mean it's not fun to watch. Like
exactly.
There's that, like you got Sar flying around, and like you get fights here and there every couple of games. You get a couple of techs, a flagrant. As long as it's not too dirty, it's all extremely fun to watch. Like a lot of people, I had some comments after, maybe it was the Denver game. It must have been where Valanciunas kind of got Stu in the headlock. and so many people were disappointed Stu didn't like fight back, and I'm like, I'm actually proud of you because like I reckon earlier this season, definitely last year, he's probably getting thrown out and that, but he just walked off with a smile. But there's always this team's so entertaining, even if they're not like 3-point shooting or running the most beautiful offense you'll ever see. But yeah, so much fun. Is there any other thoughts, Dave?
No, not really. Just excited to see what Kevin Hutter brings to the table and Detroit Pistons
Red
through and
velvet.
through.
That's right, brother. Well, thank you for jumping on as always. Awesome to catch up.
Anytime. Nice to see you guys.
Right. Catch you, mate. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
All right, let's get Maddie on up here. Let's go.
Let's go.
Is that
Let's
a
go. BTA.
Is that a Tobias jersey?
Hey, young Unk.
That's like that must be
Yes.
from like 2016 or something.
2016. Yep.
Because it's the Adidas logo too.
Yep. He had them young legs today, so I had to throw it back,
Yeah, no, Tobias. I'm so happy he's still on the team. Like,
Me too. I'm not kidding. That's why I'm wearing this jersey right now, because he made it past the trade deadline. I'm like, all right, he's a Piston still. Thank God. When they said that teams were calling him, a bunch of people were saying, like, putting deals together, how the Pistons could get him. And of course, Tobias was in them. I'm like, we can't trade Tobias twice to the Clippers for an aging star. We can't do that again.
oh, that's such a good point. I didn't even think of
Yeah.
that.
Like, could you imagine? Hey, you're going back to the Clippers. We traded you for a star again. That'd be great.
I want Tobias on this team forever. And like, I
Same,
think
same.
a lot of like the reason, at least from my end, the only reason I ever talk about trading him is purely just because he's the contract the Pistons would have to move to get.
Exactly.
Like but I'm excited for him. Like he's going to come back to this team. Like he'll
Right.
re-sign on a deal that works for both parties. But like him coming off the bench next season, or like even if he's still starting, like imagine him off the bench. Like I think he's going to be in the league for a lot longer. Like I think he's 34 now, is he? Or maybe I shouldn't
I
add
think
years
he's 30,
on.
I think he's 33, but he'll be 34
Okay.
sometime this year. He'll be 34 soon. I know that.
He's
I
got
didn't
that
want to
old
add
man
too many
energy.
years on there, but
Yeah.
like his post game and all that, like he's hitting threes, like he's a weapon. I feel on offense.
Right. I agree. I think he'll be in the league elite, and be able to do what he does for a while, just because when he gets that back down and then turn and gun, like teams can't stop that, and it just isn't slowing down.
No, exactly. And that guy, shout out to my guy Dan here, white guy next door. Tobias turns 34 in July. Maybe I share a birthday with him. I'm July 7th. But
34
like,
for 34.
the thing with Tobias as well is I feel like he actually loves Detroit. Like I know he re-signed, came back last offseason, and maybe some of that, a fair bit of that was to do with the Pistons giving him a bigger deal than he might get somewhere else. But pretty sure he has like housing with his brother in Detroit. Like he's invested back in some sort of housing.
He did,
in
yeah.
Michigan. I want to do some more research on that, but because it's a cool story. But he genuinely has like an investment in that, like in the city, and like I think that's something fans should
Right.
appreciate, because it's cool.
He met his wife when he played here the previous time, so he's got ties just to Michigan at that.
Gotcha.
So I'm hoping he never leaves, to be honest. Like I know you've said it before, like he can be like kind of our Udonis Haslem type player, where he's just the veteran who's always there, always has that presence.
Literally. No, I would love if that's kind of the role he ends up filling, because I think all the younger guys like love his presence, look up to him. And I've said it like a few times, but yeah, he was genuinely, after like when I went to the Pistons office and stuff and just talked to some people, like he was huge in changing the culture, like really, and like connecting basketball and the front, like all parts of the whole team, not just the basketball side. Like he helped like get the players more in like on social media, so we get that access to see them, like all that stuff. He's a huge part of why that's a real thing now with the team and the coverage we get. So I think I'm so happy he's still on the team. And
his impact,
it
really has been great.
I need to get one.
I actually just got this, and I was thinking, I hope he makes it past the trade deadline. I hope he makes it past the trade deadline. Didn't it? Because, like you said, he's included in trades because he's legitimately like the best salary filler in the league right now with that contract situation. So that's
Yeah.
why he's always brought up. But for what he means to this locker room, I'm really glad he stayed.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I love the videos we see of them all dancing, like Unk getting in there. Like it just feels like they're such a team, and he really feels like he is kind of, I guess, the glue in there, keeping that sort of that culture and that sort of, that fun.
Right.
Absolutely. 100%. No, I think I saw like a report the day before the deadline. Sometimes I can't tell if it's fake or not. It was from like one of those aggregator accounts. So I assume it's real though. It said the Pistons weren't going to move Tobias, like he was staying, but I was still just a bit nervous. Like you said, I never wanted to fully believe the Kawhi stuff because I was like, that just is. He goes
Yeah,
against
it wasn't
everything
happening.
I feel like Trajan has spoken about at players he's looking for, like injury prone. He's on a lot of money. He's old.
Right.
Like he's an amazing player and absolutely torched us in LA a couple of months ago or whatever. But like, yeah, we still got Unk.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll go with Unk. We'll go with Unk right now. We got our star in Cade.
Literally. Any other thoughts, Maddie? Because I've got Nabil. I can see down below they're ready to come up, and then we'll move to some trade deadline stuff.
So trade deadline. I feel like a lot of
Go for it.
people are kind of overreacting. Like, obviously, I'm sad to see J.I. go. Like that was huge. We drafted him, watched him grow with us, and all that. But I remember during the off season, everybody was down on it. Everybody was saying we didn't do enough. We were gonna regress, this and that. And now you're kind of hearing the same stuff around the trade deadline. And it's like, just trust in Trajan. We're number one in the East. Like, we're here for a reason, So I think people need to, like, they were just saying he didn't do enough, I would say. But I think we're fine, to be honest.
I'm with you. Like, I kind of did. I've done a couple of videos and shared my thoughts. But Ash, what's your kind of thoughts on that sort of commentary around the team? People
I
kind of
mean,
saying didn't do enough.
would we be Pistons fans if we didn't overreact? We've been overreacting for years.
I think
That's
that's
true.
what I was going to say. I think
Right?
some of it is like a lot of the fan base maybe on social media. Obviously, it's a variety of ages, but
Right.
predominantly people on social media are younger and haven't. I mean, like I'm not like a teenager, obviously, but like just my experience with the team is not much success. So I think a lot of people who are younger, like they don't even understand what it's like. Like I don't understand what it's like to follow a really successful team and have trust in the team. So I think people just probably don't even know how to believe this team's that good right now and can win a
Right.
championship. You know what I mean? Like they haven't
Yeah.
experienced that. And I think I've even thought like, oh, MPJ would be cool. Like for sure. Like there's players that have been like Trey Murphy, like that would be fun. But I think like a lot of the fan base maybe just don't even know how to experience it. And I just kind of, when I find myself like losing it a little bit or overreacting, I'm like, just look at what OKC did. Like they've barely made any big moves until they got to the second round, figured out
Right.
Giddy. Giddy wasn't a part of the team. I feel like Ivy in a way leaving is kind of like Giddy leaving OKC. Like the fit's not really there anymore. And then that summer after the playoffs, they got Hartenstein and Caruso, and then they win a championship the next year because they did it in the playoffs and they saw what their biggest holes were. And I think that's what Trajan's been consistent with.
Yep.
And look, I'll be honest, like I was way more heartbroken by the Ivy trade than I expected.
That one for real.
It did really hurt just as a fan, but I think like ultimately like that day they beat the Nuggets without like we just beat the Knicks, like throttled them. Like I think we're good. I think you can make better moves in the off season.
Exactly. I think he's waiting to fully evaluate through a full season, through all the playoffs, and then he's going to do something this off season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think so.
that's the smart play too.
Exactly.
Like, I've said it as well on Twitter. I've said it all season. Like, let's use this season as a yardstick for where we need to improve.
Yeah.
Because we have that physicality, we have that playoff style. let's see how it goes when other teams get to that playoff style, and then we can make a really good, smart assessment on what we need and what we need to do.
Exactly.
Exactly. Well, Maddie, any other thoughts on the deadline? It sounds like you're happy with everything where the team's going.
I love where the team's going, and I just wanted to shout out to the Dunkyard Dog. You already know I had to get the signed jersey.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Did you
Hey,
meet
what
him?
up, though, Tom?
Did you meet Duncan?
No, I didn't. I actually, so Jalen During is doing a signing tomorrow at the same place. And so I dropped a jersey off because I wasn't sure if I was going to make it there or not. And while I was there, I was like, man, I'm so bummed I missed the Duncan Robinson signing. And he kind of lights up. He's like, I think I got something for you. And I think he's going to go in the back room, but he just reaches up to the ceiling behind me and pulls this down. He's like, I'll give you a great deal on it right now. I was like, I'll take it straight up. No hesitation.
Unreal. That's so good. I love it. So you might see JD tomorrow. Just watch out for his knee.
Oh, I'm gonna. I'm gonna ask him how it is, try to gauge where he's at with it. And then hopefully he's good for the dunk contest because I want to see him win that.
That would be sick. That would be sick. Well, Maddie, thanks for jumping on, my guy. Appreciate your support as always. And the
Yeah,
energy's
appreciate
always
you guys.
crazy.
Nice chopping it up with Ash. Great
Let's
to
go.
finally meet you. And hey, go Pistons and F you Brunson.
Let's go, Maddie. And he just signed up.
Thanks, Maddie.
All right, we're getting the bill here. And shout out to Tom. Tom, I hope you're having fun at the wedding and you're out of your Pistons gear. But Tom was at a watch party. Nabil, what's going on?
What's going on? How's
Oh,
everyone
man,
doing? Can you hear me?
I can hear
Good.
you loud and clear. We're just some pretty happy
I don't
Pistons
think you
fans.
can.
Maybe you
hold on.
can't hear us. All right, we've lost Nabil. If he comes back, I'll bring him up. But I hope Tom might still be in the chat. He might not. But Tom looks more handsome today, eh? Is he talking about himself? Oh, all right. I'm gonna try Nabil one more time here, and then we're gonna move to the trade deadline, guys. Nabil,
Yeah.
can you hear me? Okay.
I can. Can you hear me?
We got you.
Okay. Technical difficulties. I don't know what's going on today. But yeah, big win for the Pistons today, defeating the Knicks 118-80.
Crazy.
As you said, BTA before. Yeah, Pistons defense was great. Locked up Brunson. Brunson shootings off today. So Asar Thompson had him in jail. That's the term they use for when a player is struggling. But yeah,
They certainly do.
I think,
I was actually trying to cook up a little graphic of Jay Brunson
Yeah.
behind bars, but then I was like,
Oh,
I don't want to get. I'm just gonna wait. Like, I've got some really good stuff, but I'm just gonna. I thought if I post it, it's like people are already gonna be like, no cat, no this. So I'll wait a couple of weeks. Hopefully,
Yeah,
both teams
that-
are healthy.
that was my next point. I know that Knicks fans are going to say, oh, they didn't have this player, they didn't have that player, but they're called a contender team. And if you're a contender team, no matter who you got on the court, you're supposed to try your best and win, and today the Knicks did not try their best. They didn't even look like the team that they were on this 8-game win streak that they had. So despite them having injuries, they can't make excuses because, contender teams like the Pistons, like the Knicks, like the Celtics, whenever they're shorthanded, they have to say, you know what, we can win with the players we have on the days that we have.
Exactly. That's my thing, because like obviously
Yeah.
you're a Raptors fan, but like just for me, like obviously I'm clearly very biased. But like
No worries.
if like you as a neutral fan, like the Pistons just beat them by 38 points. Like, yes, you have a couple of key players out. Pistons are missing Jalen Duren, who's the second best scorer, but like they just look like the Pistons' physicality just they don't want to deal with it or something. Like the effort, the lack of effort is what stands out to me. Like if they had lost by 15 tonight, but it's like it was a close game or whatever until the last 6 minutes, I don't know. Just if I was a Knicks fan, that's what would worry me the most is the lack of physicality and how the effort just seems to
They didn't play
evaporate.
up to their standards.
Yeah, it's like what are the standards? Like I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like just to
Exactly.
roll over like that in both games is kind of. That's why I'm just a bit shocked as a Pistons fan. Like I don't know.
Let's see. And my last point before I leave is I like what you did at the trade deadline. I know it's a small move, but as you said before, I think the best thing for the Pistons is to reevaluate at the end of the season, see what goes on then. I think you could make a deep playoff run. Conference finals, even NBA finals, and then you'll see if a big trade needs to happen. But Jaden Ivey will be missed in Detroit. He actually played his debut against the Raptors
Saw
yesterday.
that.
Yeah, he did pretty good, and he was made a couple of threes, couple of mid-range shots. But he was a fan favorite, but at the end of the day, it's a business, and Pistons, I guess, GM knows what's best. He's going to take it until the end of the season, evaluate there, and see what goes on. But that's my little
Thank you,
spiel.
Nabil. Well, and Pistons finally play Raptors. I think
Oh,
that's this
yes.
week. I
This
think it's this
week.
week. So
Finally.
it's like the
Finally.
one team the Pistons have not played, and you've come
Finally.
on these streams like
Holy
at least
moly.
5 times. So
Holy
next
moly.
week we'll actually be able to talk about a
Ah.
Pistons and Raptors game, which should be a bit of fun. But appreciate you jumping up
Thank
as
you.
always.
Thank you. Peace.
Thanks,
Have a nice
man.
day. Bye.
All right, Ash, let's talk some trade deadline. I'm sure people have thoughts. I'm not sure if we'll have time for more call-ins now on this, but I wanted to spend some time talking about trade deadline. Obviously, we all know the Pistons trade. It's what was your immediate reaction, Ash, when you either woke up or saw the notification of the trade?
Yeah, so for us here in Australia, the news came in quite early, so I woke up and saw the notification on my phone. My initial reaction was like heartbreak and shock, to be perfectly honest. I fully expected JI to be on this team by the end of the season. I thought it would be an off season, do we take the qualifying offer type decision. So I was a bit shattered. I'm an Ivy fan. I've believed in him. This season I think. Last season I think he proved what he's capable of doing healthy, and I think a lot of Pistons fans just had that sort of maybe impatience for him to get healthy this season, and I think unfortunately starting off, not healthy, he kind of didn't earn his spot in the rotation in preseason, and that's put him on the back foot. And we never really got to see, 20, 25, 30 minutes of JI this season, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Um,
100%. No, like I think the injury in the preseason, because he actually started that first preseason game. Like Duncan, it's hard to think of Duncan now not as a starter, and maybe Duncan would have taken that starting job early in the season if JI never gets injured. But Ivy was meant to start, and he was going to get a real shot to show that he can be a part of this team and they can win. Because the ultimate thing was they did have to make some form of decision on him at this deadline, because of some of the cap hold stuff that he had into the offseason, which would really limit the Pistons' options. So I think the plan was for him to start and show that he can get back to who he was last year on a winning team. But I think that injury in the preseason is where it started to go the wrong way for Ivy with the Pistons. No one could have expected Danis to come in and do what he did early. And then as soon as, because Ivy missed a lot of that 13-game win streak, and he came back towards the tail end. But I think as soon as the Pistons did that and kind of established himself as a 1 seed, it was like, all right, we don't have the minutes to wait for you unfortunately. And I think it's a timing thing, it's a contract thing, and I think by the end of it, JI was ready for a new opportunity as well. But with all of that said, I understood it. I wasn't surprised he was traded, but it still didn't make me feel any better about it. Like, just losing Ivy, who you would previous. I was so excited when they drafted him. Like, he was the guy I wanted, and I was depressingly for some reason watching his summer league highlights yesterday, which is sad of me. But I was just thinking back to like the high hopes we had, and to lose him and just get, and I'm going to come to love Red Velvet Kevin Herter, but for that to be the player that comes back, I can't be excited. I can't be excited as a fan. I'm not a media member. I'm just a fan. And that, like, for me, I just couldn't be excited for it. Like,
Yeah,
it's just
I
how I
think
feel.
I think part of the hurt is the return, is, you know, a pick swap, which, let's be honest, like, you know, it's probably an extra 5 spots up in the draft at the moment. I think it'd take us from 29 to 23, somewhere around there. Insignificant as far as I'm concerned, or not, you know, not particularly game changing. So really, it's a straight return of Ivy for Herder, presuming we waive Sarge, which we all
Yeah.
expect to.
Yeah.
I've had some time to think now. Like, I've had some time to sort of mull it over and think. The one thing I think Herder brings that Ivy doesn't, and it's nothing that Ivy can control, is just some height.
Yeah, it's a great point.
Like, it brings that versatility a little bit more into the lineup where, you know, we can play. And this is a lineup I'd like to see at some point when Herder's a bit more established. But something like Cade, Duncan, Herder, and then, you know, one of Tobias or Stu with
Yeah.
Duran.
Yeah.
And that should give us a little bit more spacing. We're not
Yeah.
going to sacrifice, you know, too much height with Herder being 6'6". And I think that's the thing that probably Trajan and JB were probably looking at, is, you know, there's this extra size now on the wing that we can look at, you know, getting a bit more spacing and getting the floor a bit more spaced out.
It's a great point.
And
Like,
from me,
yeah.
it just means, like, you know, I'd love Herder to take Karras's minutes.
I think a lot of people would love that. That was the thing. I didn't remember Herder being 6'6". And like, from just doing a little bit of research, like, he's actually not as bad as Duncan defensively. Like, he can kind of hold his own in the right matchups. So I think if the big thing is, like, he cannot shoot 31% from three. But if the 3-point shot doesn't get to like 38% or something, I think he will always be guarded like a 3-point shooter. Like, I think he has that rep as a volume 3-point shooter. So he's always, like, I think for this, he has to shoot better than 31. But in a worst case scenario where he only gets to like 33, if he's being played, at least he's going to be guarded. Like, I just don't think teams. Ivy was pretty well guarded and gaining respect, but I think Herder, who's been in the league for probably 8 years now, I think there's just a respect around the league that you don't leave him open. And I think he can do, like, his numbers inside the paint this season are actually pretty impressive. So, yeah, I fully understand it. It's just something about, like, when you lose a guy you thought at one point was going to be like the second best player on this team and, you know, a fringe all-star type player, because he was looking like it 12 months ago. I think it's just hard to get excited about it when you're just getting back a pure role player and you're trading out a guy who still has a pretty decent potential in the NBA.
I think, to add to that, the other thing for me is, you know, the majority of this team has been built through the draft, or built through, like, very early years, careers of players. Like, I think Stu is the longest tenured Piston at this stage and was drafted in 2021 from memory. So to lose a player that we've drafted and sort of developed for time, he's kind of the first one to go. So it's that first sort of, like, that first hurt. It's like that first breakup. Yeah.
It is. It is for your rebuilding team. I know. I even found myself like being like, "This is so depressing. It's so stupid." But I guess it's just what happens when you're so emotionally invested in it. There, I even found myself romanticizing about like his rookie season or seeing him with Cade when they were younger, and it's so weird. Like about like all of them, like, and it's but it's like this was gonna happen. Like there was no way. If it wasn't Ivy, it might have actually had to have been maybe even Ron or Jalen Duran, because there's no way if those guys get close to their ceiling that you could ever have on the same team. Cade, Ron, Asar, Jalen Duran, and Ivy. Like it's just, I don't think it's financially possible. So someone was going to have to go, and I think the writing was on the wall. Like I think unless Ivy was going to be like a sixth man long term and have no aspirations to be a starter in the league, which I just couldn't envision someone at his age wanting that. Like it was gonna happen. But I think on the flip side, like everything you said about Herder is spot on. And I think overall for this team this season, that move just makes them slightly better. Slightly better. For a team that's 38-13, I think now. Like I think that's the thing to remember. Like I think sometimes they just have to log off Twitter because some of the reactions are talking about like where we've got an aging kind of team that's on its, needs to make a trade for its final run. Like, and I get that people are like, oh, well, you might not have this opportunity again. I think maybe I just believe this team's going to be right up there for the next 4 to 5 years, as long as Cade's healthy. And like, I just think
Yeah,
they're
I'd go
that
even
good.
further. I'd go even
Yeah.
further and say 10. As
Yeah.
soon as I think that the Thunder model is, like establish your core team, establish your core bench players, and then, you can make these fringe moves and sort of make these decisions to sort of, do we try and trade someone out for a high draft pick? Do we combine some draft picks, move up the draft, and use that person as a contributor while they're on a cheaper contract? So I think overall it had to happen. As you said, the money situation, all of it had to happen. It was just, yeah, it was a bit sad.
Absolutely. It was sad, but it was going to come. So I'm sure wins like tonight definitely help. Like, it's just like,
Absolutely.
shout out to, I think it's Tito here. Salute from Mexico. Appreciate you tuning in. And sorry, guys, we're both chatting. So we're trying to monitor the chat at the same time and make sure we're still listening to each other. But we appreciate everyone in here. Ash, I wanted to, because I think another talking point coming out of this from amongst Pistons fans and probably around the NBA as well is there was some pretty big trades that happened in the East. There's a fair few trades in the end, and some people were, saying this team got better, this team got better. The Pistons only traded for Herder. Honestly, I'll read out some of these moves. So we had Zubac. I'm not going to do the actual details. I'll just do the top line. So Zubac went to the Pacers, Vucevic to the Celtics, James Harden to the Cavs, Jaren Jackson Jr. went to the Jazz, which it doesn't affect the Pistons too much. And then Anthony Davis to the Wizards. None of those moves bother me for the Pistons, like for our race to the finals in the East.
The only one that makes me just the tiniest bit nervous would be the Vooch to the Celtics, because Vooch, for some
JD.
reason, yes.
Yeah.
Vooch just has JD's number. So that one makes me just a tiny bit nervous, but I don't think any of those teams got good enough that we need to be seriously concerned. Harden to the Cavs, yes, they get better. There's still only one ball when you play basketball, and that now has to be shared between Harden and Donovan.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes. Yeah.
Literally, and like they've got to this isn't in the off season where they're gonna have, a whole off season, preseason, then the start of a regular season to figure it out. Like we're in we must be near game 50 now for most teams. Like they don't have that much time to figure it out. So that's the other thing when we talk about like chemistry and all that kind of thing, like making these big sizable trades in the middle of the season, like it's never going to be smooth. Like I remember when the Pistons traded for Blake Griffin, it was like I think they started 4-0, and then the rest of the season was just disastrous because the team wasn't set up properly. Anyway, not to compare those trades really, because they're a little bit different. But it's just like bringing in these players who are heavy usage and stuff. It changes things. But I think the Vooch is a good point. It's like he is like JD's kind of kryptonite. Like I think like spacing big that's also skilled on the inside as well. He's had some big games against the Pistons for sure.
He'll definitely be able to space the floor for the Celtics. So that's, it'll test our defense. But, we've also, we've been a defensive team for 51 games now. We've been in the top, the top 10 in defense for the whole season. So at the same time, at a certain point, we've got to trust the defense that we've shown and built and created.
100%. And I back it in. What they did to the Knicks tonight was crazy. I will say, I think White Guy Next Door, aka my guy Daniel, says Boston really shoots threes really well, and he's one of the better floor spacing centers, which is exactly what you were saying as well. Like I think the Knicks are easier for the Pistons to defend because it's a lot of ISO ball with Brunson, and the Celtics kind of they do heavily rely on Jaylen Brown like to do a lot, but they also just get up threes and play. I think their pace in the league's like last, but it feels like they get shots up quick. I don't know how that stats counted, but adding more shooting to that is scary because that's how they beat us in that game in November. It was just threes from Derek White, threes from everywhere from Houses. So that's a little bit scary, but I don't think any of these are like, anyone's now saying that any of these teams are above the Pistons. I even saw NBA.com's had the Pistons at number 1 in the power rankings the past 2 weeks, which is crazy.
I mean, is it crazy?
I'm not used to it. I don't know then. Like maybe the Thunder have been struggling. I guess they do have some injuries now, but yeah.
I mean, the Thunder started out hot, and their schedule got tougher. Like they had the easiest start to the season, and that's something that even I definitely forgot. When they went out to that, they looked like they were going to break the Warriors record. That sort of strength of schedule definitely ramped up, and we've seen them falter a little bit. Where I think 1 game back at this stage, so we definitely deserve to be in that conversation of, if not 1, we should definitely be 2.
100%. I think we play them maybe in February because we haven't played them.
I think it's the 25th.
They've got Shea back. Okay, hopefully Shea's back for then because that'll be after the All-Star break. Because they might be without Jalen Williams. He's barely played for them this year because he's in my fantasy team. But I really want Chet and Shea to play because I think we can beat them at least once. Like I think I'd love to sweep them, but like in the season series. But I'm really excited for that matchup.
It'll be a really good test for this team. A really good test for us to see where we're at and see how we match up.
Because like you said with the defense, they're the number 1 ranked defense. I think the Pistons might be number 1 ranked in like the last 25 games or something. Well, they were in January, but OKC, regardless of the numbers, I think what they did last year and the points throughout this season, they have the best defense. So it'll be an awesome game to watch. Can't wait. But any other thoughts, Ash? I think we've pretty much hit it all.
I mean, I think there's too many positives from tonight's game to just pick one. Like I don't know if the belt's been announced, but good luck to whoever's got to decide where that's going.
Yeah, my guess would be Danis, but I also never know sometimes.
I would go Asara, I think, just for that defensive intensity.
That's
and
true.
those 2 highlight blocks, like they really blew me away, those ones.
He was incredible. The whole team was incredible. But I think that's going to do it, guys. Thank you to everyone who joined on the chat. We had Maddie, Nabil, Zave, and Devin. Thank you once again to everyone in the chat. Ash, tell the people where they can find you over on Twitter or anywhere else you're doing Piston stuff.
Twitter is my main Piston stuff, and it's ashvan_13.
How good is that? you guys. Thank you so much for joining. Enjoy another 30-point belting of the New York Knicks. If you could please like, subscribe, drop a comment below. But until next time, as always, go Pistons.